Worrying can be so debilitating because it's riding on the back of our earliest fears from childhood and deep unconscious, these fears that would have us believe that these things that we were concerned with or worried about, afraid of in childhood are actually going to come about. We don't really know what these things are. They may not even believe to us or belong to us. So the short of it is that they can really be debilitating, and they can sabotage us in ways we can't quite put our finger on, except that suddenly we become incapable of doing what it is that we want to do, or incapable of reasoning in a way that keeps us on even keel. So what to do? And I'm sure everyone listening to this has at least once or twice experienced something to that effect, and it can be in any area. What I found really useful for me, and I'm finding really useful for me because it's certainly a learning curve, is that if I can reduce the things that I'm worried or concerned about to projects that need management. They can be anything from, as is the case for me right now, finding a home to live in that I like, or it can be wanting to lose weight or put on weight or deal with stress and a job, a profession, a career. It can be anything, absolutely anything. I find it really useful to think of these things as management issues or projects that require management. So there's the overarching reality of my own life that in itself is a management or a project that I need to manage on even keel to the best of my ability. And by even keel, I mean joyously, happily, as best as possible. And then there are the smaller details, the smaller things that we all deal with, matters that matter to us all, like relationships, like home, like career, like contribution to the community, spirituality, what have you. All of these things can be seen as the small or smaller facets of the overarching reality of our lives. So if any of those particulars have to be dealt with, let's say you need to move house, then what I found for me is to begin with clarity, although it hasn't always been that way. And if it is the area which is troubling you repeatedly in life, a pattern, and it can be anything for you. For me, it has been the home situation since I move so much. I'm a bit of a gypsy. I travel around the world, do these workshops and retreats and what have you. So I'm always confronted with the same damn thing, the need for a base. So if that is your issue, the primary thing that seems to always cause you the most worry and concern, then clarity isn't always going to be easy for you to come by. In other words, you might say, well, what I want is this, but it would always be followed up with a reason why you can't have that. So I'd really like this type of apartment and to live this particular lifestyle, but I'm not sure I can afford it. So reason, or apparently reason, and logic or logistics will step in and keep you in a state of confusion. So what you really need to do in this particular time is just take off this adult hat, this rational hat for a moment, and put on a playful hat, a kid's hat. Let yourself play. What is it that you really want? You know, what would an ideal situation be for you in this situation? You know, what would a cozy home look like? Doesn't matter how much it's going to cost. Doesn't matter how much Sydney, how expensive it has become, and so on and so forth. Go ahead and let yourself, maybe with pen and paper as I do, get clarity. And if you don't have pen and paper, then it's essential that you work with someone, a mentor, a coach, who could walk you through this process with asking you the right questions in order for you to come to a sense of clarity and to be able to see what it is that's getting in your way. And I tell you, everyone needs a mentor, everyone needs a coach. There's just no one who has been able to realize their full potential in any area in life without a mentor. I like to say, what does Roger Federer, what does Madonna, what does who else is there, you know, Clinton, or one of those presidents, Mother Teresa. Go ahead and choose any area of expertise, any area. Could be an actor, could be a financial person, could be a spiritual person. Even Jesus had help, for heaven's sake. You know, what do they all have in common? They all have a coach, a top grade coach who has helped them to stay on track, to get clarity about what it is that they want, and to support them through the process. So it's essential. For me, I have my mentors, but I also have my pen and paper. I really love to sit down and write and ask myself the same questions that I would ask clients and answer them in order to get clarity, in order to stay one step ahead of those seemingly rational reasons why I cannot have what I want. And if it is an issue that you've been dealing with through a lifetime, then those tend to be very convincing. And as I said earlier, particularly because they are riding on the back of childhood fears that you don't even know what they are anymore. They're acting at the level of the unconscious. And as I said earlier, chances are, in most cases, they don't even belong to you, but they are fears by inheritance. So can you imagine that you are worried and concerned about things that don't belong to you? That can really reduce you to panic, to anxiety, to tremendous stress, lack of sleep, such fear, such tremendous real fear. Others may not understand it either. They may even judge you for it. They may even laugh at you. They may even talk behind your back about it, and that only adds to the degree of what you're feeling. But disregard all of that. The fact is, they themselves have got their own shortcomings. There is not a single person alive today who does not deal with some issue that brings them down to their knees, their Mount Everest, so to speak. So, my friends, what to do practically then? Pick up a pen and paper, write about the thing that is causing you the most worry, gain clarity about it, take off your adult hat, your rational hat, throw it in the garbage bin. It's full of limits. Put on your play hat and let the child in you tell you what it is that you want. Never mind if you can afford it. Never mind if you're good looking enough to get that girl or that guy. Never mind how long it's going to take. Never mind all of that. Just write down what it is that is your ideal in that given situation. That's called gaining clarity on the situation. And once you've gained clarity, then other things, suddenly doors begin to open up for you. Now it's just a question of managing this particular project called I want that type of home to live in. Suddenly doors open. Your energies have been released. You'll be amazed what is possible. You just have to take off that hat. If you begin dealing with a situation like this, a situation of concern, with your worries, with your concerns, you're not going to be able to. It'd be like, you know, trying to walk with shackled feet, or with trying to drive with the handbrake on. You're hijacking your process. So put away your reason, your logic, your adult nonsense. It's always nonsense, because it's always limited, always limited. It's based on the current situation as it is. It's based on the past. It's not based on thinking into the future. It's based on the limits of the present moment of what's possible in the current reality. Disregard that just while you're doing this exercise. And that's what a coach helps you to do. If you don't have access to a coach, then write it down. Start to write down, and you'll get clarity. Doors will open, and then all you've got to do is to manage a situation. It is no longer a personal conflicting reality. It is it's a project to manage, and there are things that you'll have to do, and then you will just take a look at those things and go ahead taking action. So for example, to be practical about this, for me, what I've had to do right now, well, I realize that what I want is to live in a particular situation where it's you know, it invites me to stay home and not to spend $250, $300 a week on cafes, because that's also where I do my work, on food and what have you. So I said, well, I want a place that helps me to stay home. So I may have to pay $500, $600 crazy a week for Sydney prices for a studio or a one-bedroom. And okay, so, well, what do I... Now I know that's what I want. What do I have to do? I have to earn a certain amount of money, and so on and so forth. So it just becomes a question of logistics. How can I earn that money? Well, I may have to go and get an Uber driver's license if I can't make it with my coaching business and what have you, coaching services. I'm building that. So okay, then I have to do that. Oh, Uber, that kind of exciting. How do I do that? Maybe I'll have to drive one day a week to earn that extra $200, $300. There's nothing embarrassing about this. There's nothing humbling about this. It's quite beautiful. It's urban. It's a reality. It's what you have to do. You're alive. You're part of this adventure called human. When you have these ideas about yourself that you can't do this and you can't do that, then you're really living just in fantasy. You're not living reality, the beauty and the joy of reality. So in the past 2 days, then I've had to go and see how can I become an Uber driver, and I have to do this and this and this and this, tick all these boxes, and I've almost done it. Now I may be on the road in a week or two, driving one day a week to make that extra $300 so that I can put it towards my rent. I've been very personal with you because I want to show you or share with you what is possible in terms of allowing yourself to be adventurous and to play a hat. Don't take your reality too personal. Don't personalize things. It's easier said than done, but when you learn to do that, everything becomes just a project to manage. And the smaller aspects, the smaller dimensions of our lives, the realities, matters that matter to us, also becomes macro or micro management realities that we have to address. All right, my friends, I hope you got something out of this. Let me know in the comments below. This is Bassam. Take care.